everyone, it's Tammy Pally, aka the Crafty Princess and Doll Collector, and I have Tamara with me here today for a little wine and dollies. Here is my wine. I know, looks like I should be at a Renaissance fair, but I am drinking. Let's see, I wrote this down. Turning Leaf Pinot Grigio. It's white wine, very light and refreshing on a hot July Friday night. And the reason why we actually have two of these, I guess, tumbler things like this, because my husband and I are notorious for breaking wine glasses. We have other glasses that don't seem to be an issue, but for whatever reason, I guess you have a little too much wine, you break the glass. I don't know. But, so he got these for us one time, and yeah, they're pretty cool. They're kind of funky looking, but they keep everything nice and cold, so, and I don't have to worry about breaking it. Yeah. So anyway, all right, so what am I going to talk about today and today's wine and dollies? I guess a few things, starting off with, I am still grading. We are about, I guess, midterm into the 6 or 7 week semester for summer that I'm teaching. I'm teaching 2 composition classes. Basically, students have to read stuff and then write about it. And they're online classes, so that's really, nice, and for me as far as scheduling goes, especially because I'm working on curriculum for the fall. I have a new class I'm going to be teaching online, and it doesn't even have a book, so, which is my choice. It's not a big whoop. Okay. Oh, sorry, but it's a creative writing class, and it's an elective course, and I just, there's plenty of information that I can either create or that is available that I don't feel it's necessary for students to buy an expensive textbook, because textbooks these days are very, very pricey. So anyway, but that's just, it adds a little, layer of extra work on top of that. But I've been grading drama papers today. They had a choice to write between, Oedipus Rex or The Importance of Being Earnest. So I have been reading about poor Oedipus, and is he guilty? Is he not guilty? Is it fate? Is it free will? And of course, there's no answer to that question. But it's basic argumentation. So, and it's funny, I've had a couple of students, they have until midnight, whenever the due date, just to make it easy. I just say midnight Eastern time. That's when something's due, as far as the essays go. But when the system that we have, when you go in as an instructor and select the time and date and stuff like that, because it puts it in there, this is the deadline and everything, you can't put in midnight. That's not an option. It goes up to 11:59. So I've had 2 students email me today asking me about that. Like, is it 11:59 or is it midnight? Okay, people, it's a minute difference. I'm sorry. I mean, I just think it's easier because it can be confusing, because, I've had people think, oh, when I say 12, they think it's midday, like noon, not midnight. So I type, when I put the instructions in, I say midnight Eastern time. I don't put 11 midnight or 11 o'clock p.m. or whatever, because I know that's a confusion for people, and for me as well. So anyway, I just thought that was funny. It's like, okay, it's 1 minute. I won't count it late. If it comes, honestly, if it comes in at 5 minutes, I'm not going to count something late if it's a few minutes late. It's not, shoot, I don't even count it late if it's more than that. But anywho, yeah, so my work has been creeping in on my crafting time, my dolly crafting time for sure. But there was somebody, oh, I did write this down. That girl Mira in one of her, I believe it was a wine and dollies, or maybe it was just one of her regular videos, talked about, placing these time constraints on what we want to do with our dolls. And most of us who do collect dolls, especially, the Blythe dolls, pull-up dolls, that kind of thing, it's not just simply collecting the doll and sticking it in the cabinet and not doing anything. Part of the hobby is doing stuff with them, customizing them, or at the very least, getting outfits for them, or photographing them, or making stuff for them, whatever. And yeah, I have to say I am guilty of that pressure, feeling that pressure, like I haven't done enough with my dolls, I spent this money on them, blah, blah, blah. But as she pointed out, you know, you have to enjoy them, so calm down. And I'm going to take your advice, Mira. I have, like most of people in the hobby, and crafters in general, you know, we have a big long list of what we hope to accomplish, but you know, I have to work in order to pay for the dolls and pay for the beads and all the other crafty stuff I like to do. So, and in fact, really, this Wine and Dollies, I'm going to talk about Blythes and beads and a little sewing. So, starting with the Blythes, I have a video I've done, and I'm going to do a follow-up. So there's actually going to be two. I usually like to do like a couple of videos at once, as far as recording them, just as far as time goes. It's just easier for me. But I've already recorded a video where I showed a lot of new Sparkle Girlz clothing that I picked up. And this is one of the outfits. And in the first video I do, I just show the clothing not on the dolls yet. And so then I thought, well, it'd be fun to maybe do like a fashion show where I show, you know, like a follow-up. Here is what I bought, and then this is what worked and this is what didn't work, because as you may know, Sparkle Girlz clothes, some work, some don't for Blythe's. And I have a little video about that the first time I even tried them. But it's interesting because, you know, I think I have it all figured out. And this particular outfit I did not think would fit on a regular Takara body. I thought maybe it'll fit on the larger, you know, what is it, future Fortune Day bodies. But it fits are okay. I mean, it's a little, you know, it's a little loose, but fits are fine, you know. So, yeah, so look for that. I'm thinking of doing maybe some sort of slideshow type of thing where I have her in the different outfits, and then and probably mostly it's going to be her, because since she's a Cherry Beach Sunset stock Takara, and because she's tan, little outfits like this really look cute on her. To shows off her skin. Whereas some of the other dolls, they're so fair that they just can't pull off some of the clothing. They tend to be little, you know, sleeveless, short outfits, things like this that show a lot of the dolly skin. So, so yeah, that's one little thing I'm going to be doing with her. And actually, that's why I bought most of the clothes I recently purchased from there was with her in mind. I just knew they would look cute on her. But otherwise, other Blythe stuff I want to do. I really need. I got hair I need to do. Her hair, I've still got in a ponytail, and I need to give her a spa just because it feels funky. It's very dry. It's not oily or greasy or anything. It's super dry and crunchy, and I think soaking it in some fabric softener may help. The other thing I want to do, I have 3 dolls that I need to cut their hair. 2 for sure need to just cut even straight, which sounds easier than I think it's going to be, but we'll see how that goes. The other doll, I want to just shorten her hair a little bit and maybe curl it. So, you know, that's on the Dolly Blythe to-do list, that's for sure. So, and I think I've kind of talked about that with some of the, you know, shown some of these dolls that I'm talking about. So, yeah, that's on the Dolly to-do list. As far as the beading and the sewing goes, yeah, I also have another video that I've recorded. At this point I have not published it yet, where I show the area that I make jewelry in. I make beaded jewelry. I actually have about 7 or 8 jewelry making books out from various publishers, and so it's a hobby that I've turned into kind of like freelance work on the side. As far as writing about it, I used to sell my jewelry too. I've sold it at boutiques and things like that, but that, you know, I've been doing it for a really long time, so it's not selling, it's not my passion. You know, I'd rather explain to people how to make it or just write about it in general or whatever. But anyway, my jewelry area was just getting completely out of control, and I have my jewelry making stuff for the most part in a very tiny spare room that I'm sitting in right now, away from the cats and the dogs, because, you know, they're not super helpful when it comes to beading. They think they are, but they're not. And but I've been getting frustrated lately because it was getting everywhere, and I had turned a sewing cabinet into really a jewelry making bench, and I didn't want that anymore. I wanted my sewing machine out, with the possible illusion I may be dreaming of trying to make some doll clothes for my Blythe dolls. So, and just in general, the jewelry stuff was getting out of control. So I show a video where it's just complete chaos. There's just crap everywhere. And I talked to a friend of mine who has way more jewelry supply stuff than I do. I have quite a lot, but she could open a bead shop tomorrow. And she gave me some tips, and one of them was to take Tupperware containers, or not Tupperware, but the plastic containers, organizing, fairly big ones. She's got really big ones, but I actually had some already. These are about shoebox size, okay? And I got these years ago. I think I paid $1 a piece for them at Home Depot. I had about a half dozen left over, and I think I'm going to reorganize some of the ones I already had stuff in. And what her suggestion is, take, like for this, these are all green beads. So I'm going to take all of my green beads of different types of beads. Any, glass. Here's some Unakite gemstone. Here's some fake, whatever, I don't know what those are. Check crystals, that kind of thing. Here's some aventurine. So this is going to be my green box of beads. So then I'll have one for blue and pink and purple and that sort of thing. And you can see some of them I have actually back here already. So I'm going to reorganize this so all of this whole shelving area, this bookshelf, will have these. And then over here I have just a desk, a small desk I've ordered that just showed up the other day, and that's going to be for jewelry over here. And then here, which is this desk that you can't see, is actually the cabinet for my sewing machine, and I will be able to take my sewing machine out and put it right here. So my sewing machine cabinet will be actually used for sewing, and I'll have a desk just for the jewelry. So yeah, the other room that I usually film in is my office, my home office, which I use for grading papers. I do a lot of online grading, so I do some hard copy during fall and spring, but I usually teach at least 3 online classes in the fall and spring too, so there's a lot of online grading. And writing, I do a lot of writing, blogging, and that kind of thing, and crafting, craft books and that kind of stuff. So that's not really a place that is conducive, and the cats can hang out there and all that good stuff. So anyway, yeah, so this is actually looking better down here now that I started doing this kind of stuff. All right, I'm seeing some space, even though I keep making jewelry. I'm still giving earrings away as my random acts of kindness, random acts of jewelry. Here's some new earrings I just made recently. These are some cute beads that I have with starfish on them, and I think I'm going to give these to somebody at work. I think these would look cute on her. And it's summertime. There's like hardly anybody on campus. But yeah, so I'm starting to see, I think hopefully this weekend I can get my sewing machine out. And like I said, I have this dream of making some Blythe clothes. Years ago, I used to sew in the, I would say, mid-80-ish. I'm trying to remember. I had a college roommate of mine who was an amazing seamstress. Her mother was a home ec teacher back in the day, okay, when they had home ec. I don't think places have home ec anymore. Do schools have home ec anymore? I mean, when I was in high school, they did have home ec, but I didn't take it. But I was in 4-H, so I did learn a little bit of sewing. And my mother sewed most of my clothing, but bless her heart, she would try to teach me how to sew, and I usually would get her sewing machine all jammed up with thread. But anyway, so in college, one of my college roommates, she helped me learn to sew, and then I started sewing, and I'm trying to remember, like, I guess late 80s, probably late 80s, early 90s, I sewed quite a bit. I sewed quite a bit of my own clothing. But I will say I did have a very brief experience trying to sew baby clothes when my oldest sister started having her kids, and I did learn that just because something is small doesn't mean it's easy to make. So I had a little nightie I was trying to make for a nephew. He's almost 30 now, and that thing, wow, that was like, that did not turn out to be a labor of love, for sure. That was not, that, it was very hard. So, but we'll see. I'm hoping that, you know, if I just keep it simple, I can do just some things like maybe some, you know, like little skirts with elastic, or even just drawstring or something like that. And my mother-in-law, who also sews, or I shouldn't say also because I haven't been sewing for a while, so I will say who sews, she was going through some fabric and asked me if I wanted any, and I said yes, I would love to have some cotton with small print, you know, that would work for the dolls. So she gave me some really cute, and this is perfect. It's just a square. Obviously, I think maybe this was meant for a quilt or something, but that's like perfect dolly size, right? And in fact, let's see, like if I took, I could make like a little skirt or something almost. See? Little dress. But I won't show you all of the fabric because, let's see, it's quite a bit. They're all small, you know, pieces, but for as far as dolls go, this could be a lifetime of doll sewing probably for me. But she did pick out some really cute stuff that has, you know, like some little writing, but you know, small patterned stuff that, and what I like about this too is if you have some, then you know you want to have pattern that is kind of all over the place. You don't want to have something that you have to worry about lining up. So yeah, I'm excited. I will see. I know there's some patterns out there for dolls, you know, for the Blythe dolls, and I'm probably going to start with something like that. But if there's anybody out there that, I know a few of you guys have already started sewing for your dolls, and if you have any little tips or suggestions, some of you guys make amazing stuff that I'm just like, I mean, in fact, I know, like, for example, Denali Wind, wow, she got that book. I can't remember the name of it now. I want the book just to be looking at it. It's so beautiful. It has all these beautiful little patterns. I think it's in Japanese for the Blythe dolls. And she went out, you know, making these, to me, they look very involved, tailored little vests and things like that for her dolls. I'm talking about, like, you know, circle, elastic, knots, thing. You got skirt. I'm talking about something really simple. So, I hats off to you guys that can do that kind of thing. But if you have any tips, I'm definitely interested. Like I said, maybe I'll try it and I'll realize that I'm completely insane for even thinking about this, and I'll just go back to Etsy and start buying, you know, $5 and $10 dresses like I've been doing. Or you know, who knows? I've seen some other cute stuff that's quite a bit more expensive, but you know, it's a lot of work. I can totally appreciate the detail that goes into the handwork in making doll clothes for sure. But yeah, I think that's kind of it. So I covered it. I covered my Pinot Grigio wine. I got my little dolly here with one of her new Sparkle Girlz outfits on. School is churning along. I'll be turning in final grades in early August, and then about mid-August I go back for fall. And yeah, we got Blythe hair to do, dolly clothes to make, jewelry to make, finish organizing all this. But everything is looking good, and I'm having a good time, and just trying to remember not to put myself on a crafting dolly schedule. Just enjoy it. It's a hobby, and you should have a good time with it, right? So thanks for watching, you guys. This is kind of going a little longer than I expected, but have a wonderful dolly day. Talk to you later. Bye.